Hard Nosed Derby Podcast. We are at Whiskey City Revolution.
Live. Last night's show was unreal.
The lineup was insane.
Which we have said that pretty much from the beginning, that the lineup of the drivers as soon as Ultimate Derby launched that was
but the heat draw proved every bit of it.
3-wheel appeals.
Yeah.
Fires. Transmissions out, cradles getting broke out of them. I mean, it's what every Derby fan wants to see.
Well, you want to tell them who we got sitting there with us?
We've got Sam and Nicole Williams sitting right next to us. Guys, we'll get you live here. Nicole's a little bashful. I don't know why. Sam has been on with us earlier this fall as soon as the Whiskey City thing was launched.
What you're saying is this isn't Sam's first time.
It's not Sam's first rodeo.
Well, how are you all feeling about the Derby so far?
Go ahead, kid.
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, yesterday was a little bit stressful before. I was panicked a little bit. I was working on videos during the heats thinking, am I going to get them done or not? So once that stress was off of me, I was definitely a lot better. So today's a better day.
I think last night went really, really well. The kids handled everything great. Nicole handled all the operation stuff. She does all the videos and everything for Ultimate Derby. So anything you see on the Facebook, our videos up on the board, all that. The tough thing about yesterday was we didn't do our heat draw till 1 o'clock. We had to have videos turned in by 4. And so she had to put every driver's picture, their city, their state, and their names in every one of those videos. But in that short amount of time while we're still trying to wrap up everything for the show. So went well. We're going to definitely change some things for next year on behind the scenes stuff. The man on the track, no, I couldn't ask for any more. Those guys ran their tails off. They ran for the money when they needed to, and they pushed the pace when they needed to, and they worked with us, and we worked with them, and I think it was a good show.
When you get the caliber of drivers of Johnson Wrecking Crew guys, Hewers,
yep,
Browns, Schnars,
Demels,
this thing is just, it is.
I mean, Pudwitter was doing work last night.
Yeah.
Pudwitter did an ejecto-cedo on one homie on the end of the track. So,
well, I mean, the compact class, come down to 2 very familiar names.
Yep.
Very, very familiar, big stage names.
Yep.
I kind of guessed that, talking to both of them at the end of it.
And Cody showed his true Cody form.
Trying to just rant people.
Yep. All in all, though, I mean, killer action. I don't care if you were watching here or at home, whatever. Hats off to you all, for sure.
Well, thank you. Again, at the end of the day, we just get to watch like everybody else. And I tell you what, those drivers are the only reason that we can put on these shows. And it is why we came back, was to put on the best shows we can for these drivers, build these things as big as we can, pay out as much prize money as we can, and really try to qualify people for Rapid City.
And that's another big thing. That's all I've heard in the pits today.
And last night.
Yeah.
I kind of got to go talk to a few guys this morning. There's some guys that are going to South Dakota on a team setting,
yep,
and now they qualified last night,
yep,
through the qualifier. So I talked to him this morning. He's like, well, I guess I'm building 2 cars.
Yeah.
So.
You know what's cool about Chris, her brother, my son, come up with the idea of the national singles event. And we said Ultimate Derby will put up every bit of the prize money the first year just to prove that it's going to work. So we put up $40,000, plus we're paying our drivers to go from here to Rapid City. And the biggest thing with that is we want those 30 drivers to feel like royalty when they get there, because I'm telling you what, it's the best of the best across the country. 9 events that I'd put up against anybody's events in the country that these guys have to qualify at, and it'll be awesome. But what was really cool is the Whiskey City trophies were really cool last night, but when we gave them the plaque that said they qualified for the big national championship, man, they held on to that booger. So it was really cool. But
it's like that American Idol golden ticket.
Right, that's what we called it. We said,
okay, now we're going. So
yep.
Nicole, I know when we spoke to your dad this fall, he was pretty adamant that you were a little bit devastated after being done with Blizzard Bash and the original UD. He didn't know how much that meant to you. So coming back the way you guys did last year, and now what you're doing with everything this year, do you feel any more pressure?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I like to really create new things, so I'm not a huge, I want to upgrade from last year to this year. I want something new. So I do feel the pressure of trying to figure out what I can do differently each year, but the first year was definitely tough. I mean, my dad just threw me into it and said, here you go, figure it out. I mean, I was calling him, I don't know how many times that first year.
Which I don't know whose idea it was for the one and dones, but I know that I haven't talked to 6 people that were like, that's stupid. They don't have to bring parts. Mm-hmm. They get to spend time with their friends and stuff after the Derby. You're not working on a car. You're not taking those 10 hours of no sleep to run the next day and trying to go the long way through all that stuff. You can show up, you've got what you're ready to run, and then after the Derby, you've got your time to, go drink a beer with your friends or, go out and eat. And I think that format change, just you saying that you were wanting to change the game, I think that was a big step in that direction.
And actually what happened was Nicole and I came out to look at this facility. And we came out and they were like, hey, you want to go to a Chris Jansen concert and all this kind of stuff? And Nicole's like, sure. So we got front rows to that. And they just kind of treated us great. And I was like, let's go look at the parking lots. They're like, well, you only get the one. I said, well, do what? I walked into Nicole and I said, we're in trouble here. We'd already taken registration. Mm-hmm. We're in trouble. And so we came up with the idea, and she's like, if we're going to announce it, we announce it now. And so we announced it as early as we could, offered refunds, and said, just trust us. It's going to be a great event, and it's going to be way easier on paper. We think you're going to like it more, and it's going to push the action. And now to see other shows doing the same thing and copying the format is great, because I tell everybody, they're like, well, what do you think of somebody else copying this or copying that? I said, here's the deal. We're all going to raise everybody. Mm-hmm. The highest tide's going to raise every ship, right? And so with that, what it's going to do is the Sport and Demolition Derby just keeps getting better and better and better. I don't care if it's me pushing somebody else, them pushing us, because if we see something cool, we're like, hey, how are we going to one-up that? How are we going to one-up that? And it's good for all of us. So competition is a great thing.
Yes.
Yeah, because what was it, 2 years ago, we got to see that these shows, our local shows, our county fair shows that we were putting on, were lasting 7 hours.
Yep.
And these people were just sick of it.
Yep.
I mean, we were down to 300 people in the stands whenever we run the feature at the end of it.
Yep.
And Derek and I and my wife and his wife, we kind of stepped back. We were like, what can we do to fix this? So we decided we run the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. We haven't had heats in 2 years.
Yep.
I mean,
awesome.
Everything was a feature. If we had 60 stock cars showed up, we split it.
Yep.
Same prize money. And we'd roll with it, and everybody loved it.
We talked to guys that, heats they have their place too.
Sure.
But when you were talking about a stage such as this, it changes the level because it takes that air quotations, which we have video now.
We do. They can see what you're doing.
It takes that bagging out of there, and we all know we say bagging, but it's not.
Right.
But when you get down to those last 5 after 20 dudes have straight sent it for 30 minutes, those 5 are driving.
Yep.
One heat came down to Chris Collins, Trey Hewer.
Yeah.
Them boys were driving, no steering. That is what everybody wants to see, and you guys have figured out that locks it down to get rid of that bagging.
It does.
And the big thing, even, it's not even the bagging aspect of it. Whenever you're dealing with, 150, 300, between 150 and 300 cars at these shows, it just takes so much time.
Yep.
And that's how you end up running into 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to get these shows over, and everybody's dog tired. Nobody's getting any sleep. And this is just a way better format, in my opinion, with the car counts that you're dealing with.
And at 3.5 hours, you feel like you got in a great show.
Yes.
At 3.5 hours, you're like, man, that was a great show. 4 good heats, 5 good heats. Let's go to wherever we're going to go this evening. We're done by 10:30, and we'll also give back to the community. The problem that we were having was the communities are going, your people aren't spending any money here because you don't give them any time off. So with like this, it's a vacation. Come, run your car, go drink whatever you're going to drink in the stands, and enjoy your evening.
Yes. Yeah. So, you guys have talked a little bit. Sam and I have conversed for next year. You guys are already starting to do the planning for next year.
Yep.
Without giving anything away, you guys are you going to try a little something different for next year already? I know this is just your first show of the year, but
Sure. So next year we're going to be working on a lot of new stuff. You're going to see a lot of video cameras around us this year. We're working on a lot of stuff that we're hoping will to move the sport even further. We have a big production company here out of Kansas City that you're going to see them following us around with cameras and all that kind of stuff. That's all for future work that we're working on. We've got drivers that are working on that kind of stuff. So you have that, but then we also have the arenas and the outdoor shows. When we went to Pecatonica in June, we had never done a big outdoor show. We'd always done county fairs and helped a ton of county fairs, but we never said, we're going to make our mark on a big summer show. That one, you wait for 24, 25, I'm betting you there's a big concert there. There's 400 camping spots. We are just going to party for the week. That's our goal. And so that's what people are like, what hotel are you using in Pecatonica? Bring your camper. I got
Correct.
400 camping spots. Let's just all party together. And
Yes.
it's way cheaper than a hotel.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing is we're trying to get these destination events that people can come to and be part of the family, and we're just having fun.
fun.
Yes,
That's
just
the
fun.
difference. Just
Not
it's-
exhausted, tired. We can even run heats and still have fun.
Yes.
Well, and I mean, like, I went out there, I went out with Rob and them to Blizzard Bash a bunch.
Yep.
And it seemed like that's all we were doing was working on cars.
Yep.
I mean, just the whole weekend. There was sometimes, that I didn't get to watch anything, but
Yep.
when they were running.
Yep.
So, I mean, like I said, this whole new format, killing these shows in 4 hours, it's for the best.
Yeah. Sam stated we couldn't get Chris with us.
Yeah, because he's at Roadhouse.
Him and his crew snuck up. That poor kid was working on cars and everything till 5:30 this morning. So he's put in the time, and it was cool. Last night's the first time ever I've given the track to somebody else. And I walked off and said, tonight every call is your call. I'm out. And so we were fighting ventilation. We were fighting with a lot of stuff, which was great. He had the track and he was comfortable with it. Nicole handled all the awards and all that stuff and making sure that everybody was down. If you've seen on our Facebook page, the listing of the national qualifiers was out within 5 minutes of them winning the events.
Yes.
And so we had all this planned ahead of time, and it really worked well. Good calls. And what was cool is I got to question him on the radio and be like, hey, are you sure that's a call you're going to make in the first heat? Because you got to live with it all week now. And he's like, yep, that's my call. You got it. And so it just worked well. He interacts with the drivers so well. I may be known to have a hot head once in a while and end up yelling at drivers or do whatever because I get excited because I want the crowd to have the best show they can. Chris doesn't have that. Him and his sister have seen me do it over and over, and they're like, it doesn't work, Dad. You got to take it back a notch. You go deal with that side that you do so well with. We'll take this side. So without these kids, there's no way I'd be doing this. I was done. I was out. I was exhausted. Honestly, I wasn't having any fun anymore. Yep. And with these guys coming back around, everybody goes, we're so calm. Is like something bad going to happen here? Because everything was so calm yesterday.
Yep.
And it's a good, let's just go have fun feeling.
Well, I know the whole time we were building my car, I was talking to Chris.
Yep.
Because I was building that Mopar. Rules were a little weird with the Mopar build. And whenever I got out here, he's like, hey, I remember talking to you. He's like, well, did you do what I said? And I said, you look at it.
Yep.
And he got underneath of it. He's like, no, that's exactly what I wanted. So even whenever you're talking to him on the rule side of things, I mean, his instructions on mine were super clear.
For 20 and 18, I'm pretty proud of him.
As you should be.
20. Just think about that. 20 and 18. So I'm old. Sam's older than me.
I'm old. I'm right up there.
You know, so these kids have.
That's the only way this sport progresses. And no offense to Sam, but I mean, being set in your ways.
Yep, absolutely.
As far as what you were doing, it's nice to get that new blood involved in this stuff. If not, the sport doesn't work. And we've seen what happens with repetition.
Yep. Doesn't work.
Nope.
And that's what's cool. She comes to me with so many things, and mainly a lot of the production stuff. Her passion is the production side. This side's great. The registration, that's the legal side. We got to keep it legal. Her paperwork's phenomenal. But I'm telling you what, the production side is where she spends no sleep for 2 months out of this event. Coming into it, she works so hard going, hey, Dad, what if I tried this? What if I tried that? And I'm going, kid, it's your thing. Tonight's hype video before the event starts, she built the whole thing overnight last night. And so that's the stuff where these kids can raise the bar that I never could have done.
Well, and we've seen it even on the smaller scale of things, that trying new things, sometimes it didn't work, sometimes it did.
Yeah, you got to live and learn with it.
But
Absolutely.
like, at our Halloween Havoc 2 years ago, we decided to have a 3,000 to win gut and go.
Yep.
Like, which was just completely unheard of.
Absolutely.
Around, and it was overwhelming by the time it got done with. But what did we have on that? 70 cars or something? And I mean, those guys come out and run heats and gut and goes.
Yep.
No plates, no nothing, and everybody was like, "I can't believe you're doing that." Whenever leading up to that event, and then they seen it work, and everybody was like, "Holy shit! I guess we can start throwing these guys."
Guess it works.
That's awesome. Yep.
Well, tonight we have the last two Super Stock
Stocks, yep.
features.
Now they're going to start out with youth tonight, right?
Yep. We'll start off with you. She can probably tell you the running order better than I can. You got it?
I think it's youth, fourth, street stock,
Yep.
and then bone stock runs.
Yep. And then
And then fifth.
the fifth will be the last one. Bone stock full size will be the second to last. So it'll go
What
basically.
about the vans?
Yep. So it goes youth, 4, vans, bone stock full size, 5. So 5's where the raffle car gets to run. So we'll pull the raffle car ticket right before 5.
Okay.
Which, if you haven't got down here and got your tickets for that,
That bitch is nasty.
it is.
Gonna be a fun ride for somebody.
I know
You want to
Chris.
tell them a little bit about that? Has anybody got any information on that?
Chris.
You've absolutely.
Chris did a video
built the whole
last.
cart. Yep. And we did a video of it this morning. We took it out on the track to see how it was going to do. It did fantastic. Chevy Impala, super hard. We built it right to every rule. And the biggest thing is it's got every good part in it. It's got brand new engine, brand new transmission. One of our good 40 spline rear ends in it. It's not a typical raffle car build. We want it to compete. I want to see it at the end if that's where you want to put it. If you want to put the bumper sky high, go ahead and do it. But at the end, if it is a car that should be able to compete all night.
Good. Well, we need to let these guys get back
Yes.
to that side
Very
because
much
people
so.
are starting to really pile in here into the pit
And
area.
We'll cut this one down right now.
Yep.
And we'll
Yep.
come back with some more here tomorrow.
Yes, we will. Sam,
Thanks,
Nicole,
guys.
appreciate
Thank
you guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you tonight.
Oof, and we are back.
What a weekend.
Got to talk to Sam and Nicole
Yep.
this morning. Do a little mashup here. gonna go ahead and blend this in. It is officially over.
And officially 2 in the fucking morning. Dude, we did talk to Sam and Nicole a little bit. Got a little bit of the highlights from Friday night. Nothing as of for tonight. Let's just go back to Friday night.
Okay.
Bone stock compacts, first one's up. 1 and 2. We have talked
To both of them.
2 of the best compact drivers around. Whether it's in a wheeled compact, a gut and go, or whatever. First place Jacob Wood, second place Cody Meyer. Mad respect from both of them guys. As soon as they got out, hell, they hugged and shook hands and
Well, as you should. I mean, as big a playing field as this is, holy shit.
yeah.
And I mean, Cody got his booze. That he likes. He loves that shit.
He does. He was Hulk Hogan in that shit. Hand up to the ear hole, Super Stock Heat 1 Friday night. That was the start of all craziness, in my opinion.
Son of a bitch, did it? I mean, holy shit.
When your top 3 is Eric Diemel, Cody Brown, and Zach Johnson. Cody on 3 wheels. New Collier. Didn't miss a beat. Transmission just got beat to death. Never missed a beat. If anybody says that boy can't wheel a fucking derby car,
After this weekend, he earned it.
they need their head examined.
He fucking earned it. I think it was more of a redemption the way he drove, because you can put all the Tim Clark shit aside.
Correct.
Tim Clark Jr. went out there and I mean, he knew what was coming.
Oh, yeah.
He knew how it was going to go down, but he didn't run away.
Nope.
He took his broken training.
What do you always say? If you can't,
if you don't want to take a full track shot, meet him in the middle.
Yep. He met him in the middle.
Yep.
He found out.
But all that shit aside, I mean, that was cool. You know, everybody was looking forward to it. Tim knew it. I talked to Tim the night before. Like, they knew, you know, what was going down.
Oh, yeah.
All that shit aside, he proved himself 100%. I mean, the boy's only been driving for, 2 years?
Yes. And doing what he's doing on the biggest shows in the country.
Yeah.
He gets it pretty fucking honest, though.
So what you're saying is you think we might see more out of him?
I think we might. I think we might see more out of him. I did hear something. I was within earshot of a conversation. I'm not gonna throw it out there. I'll let that play out when it gets closer to fall. But you know, and
what about Gary Robinson?
I was gonna say G-Rob. Legit. Legit.
That's what it says.
It says right on that door. It says legit, and there is no doubt that he is legit. A lot of the...
And, dude, he wasn't... Those weren't half-track shots.
No. That was full gas, full tilt.
And he did that until it wouldn't do it anymore.
We did notice, which we were actually talking tonight while we were in the stands. I can't believe. Usually on a field like this, you get a pretty big diversity of old iron to new iron. New iron did really well.
Fuck yes, it did.
Way more than I kind of would really would think that's how it was going to go down.
Well, you never know how that shit's going to play out. I mean, normally you've got a pretty good idea, you know, that the Cadillacs, everybody's always watching out for the Cadillacs, the Impalas and shit. But I don't know if it was the little bit of rule change, you know, for this year, if that's what stepped up the game for the new styles. Mm-hmm. But it really leveled the playing field.
Yes. Yeah.
Honestly, we've seen more new styles than I thought we would out here.
Probably a third more than what I was actually figuring.
And again, that's just my opinion. I mean, there was no stats pulled on that, but
yeah. We'll hit on it here in just a little bit too. Well, hell, he was in the second feature. Trey, we're used to seeing Trey in a caddy or GM old iron of some sort. Right. He was in a new style. Chris Collins, in that same feature, was in a new style, and I personally haven't seen Chris in a new style probably since 2016. You know, that's just something that we're used to seeing him in.
Wheeled the fuck out of the car.
Oh, dude.
I know that everybody was going, oh shit. I mean, I was too. Like, hey, make him hit. Well, you can't. I mean, I
correct.
Get it. I might have been just a little bit drunk.
I wasn't. I said all week that I was going to get hammered. Did not. When you soak in a couple days of methanol fumes and fire extinguishers, and that tends to...
I ate over 3/4 of a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, it was burning my eyes.
But Heat 2, I mean, they wheeled the shit out of those cars.
Yes. The last three, Trey Hewer in third, Alan Erickson took second, and Ryan Weinkauf, he won it. It came down to them two right at the end, and when these things are bent so bad at the feet, they can't steer them. That, of course, is a big disadvantage of new styles. We saw a lot of three wheels over the last, 2 days. Some on the old iron as well, but we're used to seeing, Vic's loose steering, whether it's a box or right. something like that, but we don't see a lot of them lose a wheel unless it's on like mod shit.
Well, Trey, I'm sure he's going to want, I'm sure he'll do some explaining if you ask him, but he said he did not build those wheels. They were on the front of his car.
Well, I will right off the last heat of the night, last night, was kind of local to us guys around that Louisiana.
Holy shit.
Hannibal, New London, Pleasant Hill, Illinois area.
And then Sturgeon.
Yes. So that heat, we all knew as soon as we saw the heat draws, we knew that one was going to get
wild.
Yeah. Mad Dog was Alan Brown. Took third place as
and
well.
He earned it.
He did. Tyler Hill.
Dude, the way that Alan was driving out there was just crazy to me, because I don't have the amount of seat time that these dudes do. Every shot that he made was so well placed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you didn't see any passenger door shots from Alan. They were all wheel shots.
And then you look on the other side. Rob wasn't running as hard as Dalen and Alan, but every time Rob had the shot, he took it.
Yep.
And I mean, it was well placed where it needed to be. Steering and a transmission kind of fucked him.
Yep. Well, steering fucked a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Over the last 2 days.
And Alan almost got literally fucked by a drive shaft.
Yeah. When you popsicle stick one of them son of a bitches in the side, it's going to come up through the floorboard. But we're all glad he was good to go.
Well, after Dalen pulled off that dub, as soon as that heat was over and I seen Dalen win it, I bounced and went straight to Big Al's. We were hungry. Went over there. We walked in. I ordered 4 steaks. Had everything ready, and then Dalen, I sent it out on Snapchat, and Dalen messaged me, and he's like, "Hey, can you order me some food?" "Yeah, what do you need?" He's like, "I need 6 of those steaks to go." And I was like, "Yeah, I can probably handle that." So we got those ordered up. He bounced in, got his food, and he's like, "Man, I'm going to fucking bed." I was like, "I can't believe you come over here."
Yeah, we utilized Uber Eats. It's real
I
nice.
utilized Big Al's.
I didn't get to utilize Big Al's, and I talked all that shit that's where we was going to go this weekend, and then it's not like, which we have talked about, Blizzard Bash and Carnage and shit, where you're running your heats and everything, and you're working on cars for 3 or 4 days. You're not doing that here, but
I mean, we've still got time.
No, I'll pass.
Pussy.
You're right. Tonight's show started off with the youth class.
And I'm going to go ahead and address something. Again, this is my opinion, but complete bullshit. I've seen some people on the internet calling these youth drivers baggers. Like, some of this was these people's first derbies.
First. And we're talking 12-year-old kids.
Yeah, fuck, man. Come on.
Yeah. Without a doubt, you could see the drivers who had more experience and older. The Tevin Longest won, and then the Cam Penwell run second, and Wesley Amthire run third. And then Griffin, I'm gonna butcher this little dude's last name.
Schoonover.
Is it Schoonover?
I don't know. That's what it looks like.
With who got the Mad Dog?
I feel like he had a little help from whoever got the
with
Mad
G
Dog.
Rob was riding with him. So some of these kids put on a show. Zane T, he comes.
Bad Shack,
Yep.
Lost Tranny, Staring.
Austin Pfeiffer, local to us.
had a little fire.
A lot of fire. That son of a bitch did not want to go out.
Justin Hill, Mike Sessler were out there in the passenger seats.
Yep. Yeah, they, some of these kids don't even realize, or some of these people don't even realize, these kids, Justin Hill's daughter, she's little. She's barely 12. And then there's times where Justin's actually having to help her turn it because, you put a kid in the old iron, first of all. But I said something to Bub that was a very good idea. And on Justin's part, Justin builds her an old iron GM. That car's not hurt.
No.
So now he can want to put a few plates on it. Then he's got a stock show build that he can go run somewhere this summer. I'm not going to dog him and say that Justin's not smart.
Right.
But he showed his brilliance on that part, if you ask me.
I just love watching Mike Sessler, whether he be driving or riding. He cracks me up.
Which I told you.
Because that dude never gets flustered.
No. So it's like he never. I never even really watched him change seating positions.
Nope.
He had a chain wrapped in duct tape for his handle, and I told you, I was like, man, this little dude's got a pimp stick in there, and he was kind of struggling to start it. But once
he had it figured out by the end of it.
Oh yes, and it was that Doba.
Well, you'd look over there and you'd see Mike every once in a while throw a thumbs up to him.
Yep. Good job, boy.
But,
good job.
No, that was fucking killer. And anybody that's hating on those kids on Facebook, that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Reevaluate your life.
Yeah. Get a different fucking hobby.
I mean, I'm not saying that some of them couldn't have drove harder, that they drove before, whatever. But let the officials take care of that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And don't be running a fucking kid down on Facebook. We don't need to do that.
Yes.
Well, you want to go to heat number 4? Because it looked like it was going to be the Ted and Ed show there for a minute.
It did.
What was that, a third and a fifth?
It was a third and a fifth. And then another local got, kind of hands down, he got the Mad Dog out of that.
He had a little bit of competition.
For a minute.
Yep.
And then when you flip somebody wide open,
right,
that a lot of times kind of teeters the...
Well, after he started losing steering, which, I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't running hard before.
Correct.
But whenever he lost steering, it was on.
Yep.
I mean, all of the
point and shoot.
Yeah.
Point and shoot. I mean, so,
but it's not like we haven't seen him drive like that before.
No. We've said that on here. The last name is Doyle. So
O'Doyle rules.
O'Doyle rules. He's gonna probably kick me if I said anything like that. But if y'all are hearing something, it is my son eating slaw with his fingers, and he's trying to eat it like it's fucking spaghetti.
You have chili cheese tops and no fork.
Oh shit! So yeah, we're sitting here eating at 2 a.m. Finally, you did get to Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever the hell we got, but
and I just walked in on the backside.
Steven's just here.
I'm just eating this shit that's falling on the floor.
Guess what? Zach Johnson made it through Friday night. Dustin Johnson makes it through out of winning Heat 4. 2 Gold Rush Nationals. Jaden Hevner, dude. If anybody ever questions that boy can't fucking drive.
He run so much of that on the floor. Like,
and one of the only, in my opinion, from me watching, I don't want to upset any fact checkers. He was one of the only Vics that he had steering like religiously probably the entire show.
Yeah.
It might have had some delay in it or a little bit of drag, but he was wheeling the fuck out of that thing.
Well, fucking Teddy, man, lost steering way early.
Yep. Yeah, I got to talk to Teddy afterwards.
Everybody knows though you gotta watch that dude. I mean, 'cause he's gonna be there.
I told him afterwards, I said, dude, I'm going to tell you, without a doubt, driving new styles has made you better.
But I think he come up with a wheelman over that, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Because he lost that he lost steering pretty quick.
Well, what was cracking me up was I was watching Eddie. I was watching Eddie Chick do Eddie Chick stuff.
Yep.
I've said it on here before. I'll say it again. Whenever it gets down to Eddie knowing what he's got to do, you know, at the end.
Oh yeah.
He is the biggest pest. You know, he's like a mosquito. Because they were over there trying to get him caught up, or trying to get him pushed over somewhere. Which I still don't know how all that would have played out had he not lost both those tires. The world's full of ifs.
Oh yeah.
But every time that somebody was getting on him real hard, well, he would make sure that they couldn't do it. I mean,
he just doesn't give him any gap.
Yeah.
He doesn't give him any room to breathe.
That's what I say. He's like a mosquito. You just can't get rid of it. I mean,
that mosquito might not bite you all the time, but he just pesters the fuck out of you.
That's what he was. He was just, I mean, he was there. But the old man still got it. Don't tell him I said that. He won't be able to get his fucking car.
Yeah. We don't want his head getting any bigger than it needs to be.
All right. Here we go.
The vans.
I did not get to watch this. So
I saw some dude's head get stuck between his pillar and his seat.
We saw. That is the. We've always talked like at Carnage when we talked about Carnage. Vans did van shit. We understand this, but when you have a field of 20 plus vans and 15 of them are wide open in reverse from one end to the other. We watched dudes lose their helmet. We watched dudes get a head stuck between their seat and the pillar. We saw fires. We saw axles snapped. Vans folded. And guess what? Full send. Pulled the win out. Dylan. Richard Booth, second. Matt Mackey in third. Dakota Schmick was the mad dog. And I'm telling you, it was well deserved. Well deserved.
I'm telling you, this mom is glad her son lives now.
Yeah, it was one of them. During it, I was just like, holy shit.
See, I didn't get to see that one.
No, because your class was getting lined up in the tunnel.
Right. Which I should have just left my goddamn car in the pits. Fucking dirt burn.
Well, yeah, the dirt, that did suck.
Dirt got me.
It did.
The car's still straight as a fucking pin, though.
Yep.
And I drove the bitch off the track.
Yep, it just got, it's not bent, it's not hurt.
No, I might have to pull the core support out just a touch. But, yeah, frame rail's still straight as a fucking pin. Car still ran. The car ran fucking amazing.
You freaked out a little bit because starter was doing normal Chevrolet starter things. They'll zing a couple times.
I don't know how long it would have run, but I know the few hits before I got stuck up on the dirt, it never died. I shut it off.
Yep. Bumpers on top of the wall. Rear tires were not touching.
The bumper wasn't up on the wall. It was inside the wall.
Yeah, you're not going nowhere then.
Nah, it is what it is. Live to play another day.
That heat.
I heard Austin Johnson drive by me a couple times.
I think people heard that from Missouri.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Pekin heard that shit.
Yeah.
At 8,000 or 8,500 or whatever it was a fucking gob.
He also had the prettiest car there, too.
He did have the most pimp-ass fucking factory paint that I've ever seen.
That shit was right.
and it was so pretty.
And he fucked that car up.
It wasn't so pretty when he was done with it.
No, it was
I do not think that will buff out.
You could change the oil without getting from out there.
Jerry drove his ass off. They did a little bumper delete on Jerry.
yeah.
Not fully, it was still attached.
But the thing about this is if everybody thinks back a couple years ago at, I believe it was Bluegrass Bash, the show ended with 2 cars going nose to nose,
turn themselves over.
tipped themselves over. This thing ended 3 cars, one on their side, one on their roof, and the other one on the belly of the other one. Cool ass finish. We've talked when they're nosing up like that, and these fucking things were nosed up. Then it's leverage.
Well, whenever I was walking back, doing the walk of shame to go back down and get my car, I walked by a group that was talking in the hallway, and they were like, man, I just don't understand what's going on with this. There wasn't nothing stock about those cars. They were pretty fucking stock.
Correct. In the Derby world,
Right.
yes, very, very
And
stock.
I can see how somebody that is not familiar with the sport would see that because of the big motors,
Oh, yeah.
Shit like that. Because they were like, well, there's no way that the cars run that good. Well, they do when you start throwing massive amounts, copious amounts of cash.
Those, I'm pretty sure the ones that Steven's talking about right now are Austin, Jerry, Justin Meyer.
Yeah.
Those, everybody thinks, well, stock. Well, that I promise you is not car or the motor that came out of that car.
Yeah. I mean, like, hell, Chad Bostic shit, screaming.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's great because, I don't know, the fans should like that shit because, I mean, that's what's making these classes turn up. Fuck, I was impressed with my little junkyard 350.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit.
That sounded good from the station.
They go.
It run fine. It did.
Yeah.
It did what I wanted it to do. I wish that I could have done it a little bit longer. But
Hey, you know what? Somebody asked me in the stands, they said, okay, where's it going? I said, well, it's pretty legal for Madison. It's pretty legal for Shelbina, So if you
it's legal for Griggsville, too.
It is legal for Griggsville. That is correct. Which is
And like I said,
here in a few weeks.
It ain't going to take me very long to get it back together. I'm going to pull that door out a little bit.
Austin's car, not so much. I think the only thing it's going to find is probably a crusher pile.
And I didn't see much. I didn't get to look at Jerry's car, but it looked pretty bad, too.
I saw it on the trailer when we were walking back over the Skywalk. Y'all ever seen the movie Tango and Cash? When he pulls that pin on that grenade and says "Foobarred big time," that's Jerry's shit. It is toast.
The only thing that I was, I guess, grateful for is I did get shoved on the dirt, but I did leave with a good car still.
Mm-hmm.
And it loaded itself on the trailer.
Yes, it did. It did not go on with a forklift.
Nope. They pushed me off the dirt and
Off you went.
fired the motherfucker up and drove it on the trailer. I'm going to catch some shit. I had a couple of the officials come up to me. They were like, fuck, I was really wanting to see what that Armani was going to do. I was like, yeah, me too.
It was something different. It's...
And I'm not going to sit here and say that somebody wasn't going to knock me off the dirt. They might have. They'd already cleared my core support once.
Yep.
And I didn't know if I was ready to start beating with the fucking water pump yet.
Yep. Because the car that was right in front of you, it did an axle housing delete.
Yep.
It didn't do an axle delete. It did a housing delete. So he wasn't going anywhere at that point in time. The last 3 was Kirby Manuel in third, Scott Metzler in second, and Mike Everly pulled out the win. He was the one that wasn't on his top or its side. And as we spoke about, Austin Johnson, full scent beyond.
He
all full send.
Yeah, he turned my buddy over.
Yes, he did. That's that leverage factor.
Yep.
You know, if the car was straight, it wouldn't have done that.
Right.
You know, it would have just been...
Greg was good, though.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to him afterwards. Me and him talked, and he asked me the same thing when I walked out there. He said, where are we taking these fucking things?
Correct. Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm going to take my ass to the house, and I ain't looking at one of these fucking things for a week.
At least.
Which, I get to be in Tulsa Monday morning at 7 o'clock, so that's going to be fucking amazing.
Just got to buy, but you just got to bide your time. So,
you ain't wrong.
Super Stock Heat 5.
Wowzer.
Trevor Bird in a white and blue, just one into the other.
Until it wouldn't.
Until it wouldn't. Trevor got Mad Dog. Eric Weisensell, third. I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Ralph Legis. And second,
Whitaker.
Mr. Wagon Man himself.
There was one point in time whenever they were beating on the back of that wagon that I thought it was going down.
I swore it was going down.
And it looked like it, then all of a sudden it had that nice little fucking roll to the back of it.
Yep.
And it was a brick wall again.
Yep. And that's
I kept looking out there, I was like, holy shit. Ass end of that wagon's falling out. I was wrong.
I'm thinking the body was just going down a little bit until it got to the rails.
Yeah.
And then the rails are just normal Bob shit, so we're going to hit this real quick. Guys that are going straight to Gold Rush Nationals that got their spots. Bob Whitaker. Son of a bitch. Dustin Johnson. Zach Johnson. Dalen Brown. And Ryan Weinkauf. Stuff did get announced Friday in the driver's meeting. The first driver's meeting after chip draw. Originally, it was supposed to be the top 3 from each street stock heat, plus a Mad Dog got a ticket to Gold Rush. When this came about, there was another promotion company that they were going to be part of this whole qualifying deal. They ended up backing out. So Sam being Sam, he jumped in and said, okay, now here's what we're going to do for our guys to make a qualifier. Well, after that was announced, the group that backed out came back in. Therefore, if they did it that way, there would be way too many cars on the track at one time. So he did winners only. I don't think there was really many complaints that I heard.
I didn't hear. Yeah,
It, without a doubt. Here's the thing. If these guys, even if it wasn't for going to Gold Rush, they still would have drove the same way.
Oh yeah.
We've seen guys drive like that for $1,500, not 5 G's.
Right.
So you got to think about this. He had 5 heats of 5. Winner. That's just the winner's purse is $25,000.
Yeah.
Plus Mad Dog, plus second, third.
It was pretty cool that tonight in that youth class, everybody threw a bunch of money together. I think it was over $2,000.
Right about that $2,000 range
for a Mad Dog.
And that kid sent that bitch. Don't think he didn't.
Oh yeah.
But I think Gary was in there pimping him a little bit, for that $2,000.
Well, if you're wanting a Mad Dog, I can't think of anybody else better to be riding with you.
Austin, Gary,
Alan
Brown. That's hitting 33% of getting a person in the car with you that knows what the fuck they're doing when it comes to Mad Dog driving. That's.
Oh, I guess you could have Teddy ride with you.
Yep.
He knows how to do it.
Do you? No, I'm not gonna say it because I think Teddy has really, truthfully turned a new leaf
I'd say it's still there.
It's that little spot in the back of his.
Oh yeah.
In that back of that brain a little bit. Overall,
Michael White had a decent run going in the fifth.
In that fifth one.
Yeah. He horseshoed a drive shaft.
And then he tried to horseshoe his hand.
Yeah. Which I talked to him earlier. We got his car and shit loaded. He's going to be alright. I mean, he cut the fuck out of his hand, but a few stitches maybe. And
okay, so we're not talking Zach O'Neal bad?
no.
Okay. It was
No,
more of
they,
a
whenever they
slice
were down,
this way instead of maybe an in.
well, it was actually lengthwise on his fingers. I don't know. We still can't figure out what it was. But his glove was completely full of blood, and you could trail him from downstairs all the way up to the first aid center.
And that's a little bit of a haul.
I walked in there, and Nicole was like, "Oh, I'm just glad you're okay."
Yeah, like I said, even the people that were on their lids, Friday night, the gentleman caught fire.
He was on fire.
On fire. And it wasn't that Ricky Bobby type
I
on
know
fire.
I know it sounds terrible, but that's all I can think about. After we found out he was okay. Because after he got the hoodie off, the hoodie, his hoodie was on fire.
Yes.
So he gets the hoodie off and he takes off. It's like he's still patting and shit because he doesn't know.
You punch himself in the face.
And after he finally turned around, and, kind of gave everybody the wave and stuff. I was like, "Don't let the invisible fire get my fan." Ricky Bobby, you are not on fire.
Oh, Ricky.
If he hears that, he's gonna be like, "God, what a fucking dick." I didn't say any of that until after we found out that
he was
okay.
good to go.
Yeah.
When he's walking off and walking off. He wasn't running. He wasn't going for first aid. He was walking off. So we are assholes. We've said we're an assholes, but as long as everybody can go to work on Monday.
I've already heard twice since I've got my car off the track that I need to stick to podcasting and not driving a fucking car. Cocksuckers.
Was one Mikey and one side?
You had some big fans in the stands, though, didn't you?
Yeah. My face ended up on some T-shirts. Thanks, Paul. Dick.
Yeah, I mean, we'll hit off. Paul Smith come up. Van we'd have talked about. Pretty right van, for a van.
He still got a van.
He still got a van. Something stupid, I'm sure.
Well, what about, probably ought to say a little bit of something about George Turpin.
Oh, bud.
Drove it good.
He did too.
And I told him that afterwards.
Old Bud podcast.
Dude, Old Bud podcast showed the fuck up.
Yeah.
He went last year, came to Peoria last year, ass dumped. We hit on it last year.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was his first, big show. Like, that was his...
Correct. That wasn't at Eldon or Madison or Salisbury or someplace like that.
Well, and I'm telling you, this fucking car that he brought was right.
Right.
I'm sure he had some friends down there toward, the Eldon area that might have had a hand in helping with that one.
A little bit. I think I conversed with him a little bit about that.
Because ass in on that car was right.
A lot of times when they're real super dish like that, you'll see them when they'll take
that fucking bumper, dude, it flipped.
Correct.
Just how it was supposed to, and then it just started curling.
But even the side shots, when somebody's going for that quarter shot, and a lot of times it'll do dumb shit, but it didn't even do dumb shit up in the pillars.
I did get to go look at it after the show. It's hurt. The rails.
Fixable hurt? It did some stupid shit up front?
No, well, front and back. It pushed really fucking hard in the front. But it didn't look like it, from, just standing up until you actually got to looking at it.
Yeah.
But it according the rail on the back of it. Like.
Bad.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Pretty fucking bad.
That sucks. And I told George when he came up, I said, dude.
But goddamn, his motor sounded good.
He did lose transmission.
Yep.
He lost reverse. He had first, but he did not have reverse.
That shit's gonna happen, though. I mean, we go through this and go through this and go through this.
I don't give a fuck who your transmission builder is. GHE, in my opinion, are some of the best transmissions around.
Holy shit, dude. Everybody put some GHE transmissions through some fucking
Abuse.
this weekend.
Yes. And you'll still see him have a hiccup.
I mean, yeah, but I don't give a shit. I'm going to give GHE
Oh,
a
yes.
motherfucking shout out
Yeah.
right now. You all need to look into that shit. If you're needing a tranny and a stand-up fucking guy, right there's your guy.
Dalen Brown verified it
No, Cody.
in P Hill last fall
yeah.
that Spragless GHE is no fucking joke. Period.
Well, what I watched Dalen, Cody, and Alan do to those transmissions with them fucking coils
Yep.
in front of them.
Them boys need to tighten up their lug nuts.
I'm going to go into that. I can't say they can't tighten their lug nuts enough because actual Dalen's axle nut stripped off the hub. It just took the splines off of it and said,
And what do you do about that? I mean,
you can't do a fucking thing about it.
I think Alan's whole spindle broke.
dude,
That's caddy problems. That's what we've hit on before.
but Dalen, I've never seen anybody drive one on the tranny like he was the other night. That's how he was. He had it. I mean, he had it figured out. He knew how to get his fucking car to turn around.
Yep.
And he knew where he could burp the throttle and shit and get it where it needed to be.
What is really cool, because it's on Facebook. Anybody is friends with Dalen Brown, they can see it. Dalen is actually on a team spot. I'm not going to say the team,
Right.
but Dalen's on a team spot for Gold Rush.
Right.
Well, he qualified last night for the single spot. He did tell me today to my face, guess I got to build 2 cars. So, now I don't know what Dalen's summer is going to consist of other than building cars.
Did you see a little backstory on his taxi cab?
I did.
That was a little neat, fun fact.
Was it
Transformers.
Transformers 5?
Yep.
The car was actually in the movie as a Transformer, I believe.
I don't know.
It was in a movie.
Yeah, you're too. Yeah, I know it was Transformer 5. Whatever.
Yes. It was a movie, so that's cool shit. It's not going to be in a movie now.
Well, it might be. Did you see what was on the door of it?
I didn't.
Fake taxi.
You didn't fucking see that?
I did see the fake taxi. I did.
So it might still be in movies.
I figured that thing's going straight to the crusher pile too, because it's bad, really, really bad. It did a Teddy P nosedive
Well, I mean, fuck.
with no wheel on it. It's going to be a nosedive.
I
But
mean, that was kind of a low blow on that Teddy deal. That was years ago.
it was years ago. But
People
it was
don't forget.
that was the first fucking bulldozer I ever saw that came out of a derby car. He could plow dirt with that
was-
shit. He could grade road with that.
Hashtag old Ford problems.
So where do we go from here?
Hopefully the fucking house.
We are going to go to the house today.
Yeah.
We have
I get to drive Micah's truck back.
Luckily, checkout's not till noon. Right?
checkouts noon. Sweet.
I'll check out whenever I say I'll check out.
We were going to have a guest on with us tonight or this morning. I'm thinking he might have got a little inebriated
Well, it don't even matter. Who the fuck wants to come do this shit at 2 o'clock?
at 2 o'clock in the morning. So that said guest we will get on later on.
I can tell you 3 people that didn't want to fucking do it at 2 o'clock in the morning.
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, right there. Nate Hull rocked my shit.
Well, it's
I really, really, really wish my down tubes would have went to the fucking body, or my halo would have went to the body. Because I got some fucking work to do now. Thanks, Nate.
that's Impala problems.
It would have been fine if my car would have slid instead of been stuck in that fucking berm.
Yep, it'll just slid you on around.
Not then, though. I got to eat all that shit. Well, it fucking knocked my hand completely off the shifter. I was laying over. Thank God for the pillow.
Yes, you did have the pillow.
I thought about just cuddling up on it.
You could have just stayed in the car. Yeah, just chill.
Well, that's what everybody was like. Oh, you're putting them pussy pads on there. I'm like, yeah, I ain't get knocked out by a fucking bee pillow.
The next show up that will be at is Griggsville.
Yeah.
April 8th, I believe. That is an Austin Johnson show.
Yep.
Continuation of the Southern Memorial number 9 tour. You're going to see some more shows from Austin. Other than, I think, just a couple at P Hill that he had last year. So, he's got a youth class that night.
Bone stock.
He's still trying to work on enough pre-entries for mod class.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a show regardless. And then we turn around and we jump right into Spring X, which we will be there for that. I've got a couple lined up for that weekend. One verified tonight. I got to catch him before he gets too indulged in some sody waters. And then one that we're supposed to catch this
and if
weekend.
you want to catch my run, I'm sure somebody's got the 17-second snippet somewhere.
Was it
I'm telling you, I didn't have
117 seconds?
Maybe.
I'm
just telling you right now that I didn't have to worry about running out of fucking fuel.
You did not, sir. But
Fucking bullshit.
Real tall, straight cut walls. Wouldn't have had that issue, I don't think.
You're not wrong.
But
I was just barely off the fucking ground. Got to.
I might have I think I could have got my hand up under it, and that was just about it. But
see if I would have had a fucking bent wheel. I could have got off of it.
Traction problems. But overall, this show, let's give it up to Sam.
Yep.
Chris, Nicole, their whole crew. Holy shit. Let's just hope the other qualifying shows for Gold Rush have this wow factor.
Yeah.
If Spring X has anything like they normally do.
I don't know what the next one's going to look like, but I do know that the closer we get to Gold Rush, I would say the harder you're going to see this shit go.
Oh, yes. Promise.
Because the guys that are chasing it are going to start running out of opportunities. And at that point, it's going to be fucking balls to the wall.
Yes. Yeah, especially if there's some...
Because I bet you see some of these guys that, had already signed up for Pecatonica, that got their spot, they're still going to go run that.
Oh, yeah. We all know Derby guys are... Usually, most of them are all in, especially the guys who are running street stock weld on this stage. Would you push the issue of blowing a motor, junking a transmission, and then knowing you're going to have to build another car?
If you already had the spot and you were already prepared to go run it, I would say they're going to do it. Because I'm sure there's guys out there that are running Pecatonica and shit that's already started them cars.
Yeah, they're just wanting the 20 grand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're going for. I'm sure Mr. Whitaker will be. That's pretty close to his home. I know some other guys that are going, which Rob told us that on their episode with Rob and Trey, and Ted wasn't sure.
Right.
He said it kind of depended on how it went, and that's what sucked because almost everybody from around our area would have qualified if it would have stayed that way. The only one that wouldn't have was Rob
and Eddie.
That's right.
Yeah.
Teddy got Trey, Cody, Alan, Dalen.
Yeah. And I mean, now,
Case.
I was going to wait until we got to the end of this to bring this up because this is more of a me fanboying over the fucking hometown boy. But Trey Hammond run the fuck out of his car.
Yes, sir, he did. They're right next to us.
Yeah.
But I don't hear any noise right now, so I'd say they passed the fuck out.
But, I mean, I got to give it up to that dude. He earned respect.
Yes.
Because he was out there with Cody.
Yeah.
And, I mean, dude, he run it down to fourth. With the fucking ass end laying out of the car. There was twice I seen the motherfucker completely sideways under the car.
Yes.
At one point, he could have looked out at his slider. That's how far it was shoved out the driver's side.
Yeah, it was. What he tell me this morning that they think they're going to have to invest in some trailing arms,
Right.
Instead of just running the factory stuff, or a little bit of factory beefing, is what I would say.
And then
Because
Steven had the same problem.
Stephen Ayers, same thing. Trailing arms.
Their fucking cars looked so good.
They did.
Steven still got
A lot of car.
Trey doesn't have as much.
But we've seen Trey. We've talked about it. We've seen Trey take something back home,
Rub on it.
fix it, do what he's got to do, and then go cash a check at the next fucking show.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
Well, I mean, whenever you got the promoters in your back pocket, you know, like it might be a little harder for them boys now, you know.
yeah.
They ain't got old Steven to fucking give them the shows.
No, they got Jacob and Joshua and those guys down there, and then Mr. Tommy Stark to get through tech with, you know. So,
Which who knows if that guy knows what he's even looking at.
yeah, what the fuck?
Well, Derek, I'm fucking tired.
Yes, like I said,
I'm
Unreal.
ready to put a cap on this bitch.
Yes, Unreal show.
I know we'll talk more about it. You're gonna have to give me some sleep. Maybe I can think of some other cool shit that happened.
Yeah,
Because I would like to go a little bit more in depth about Big Al's.
that I still didn't get to.
Dude, I'm telling you, that steak was fucking phenomenal.
It was just all the steak.
Fuck, dollar beers. We're buying fucking beers by the 25s. They finally said, fuck it, we're just bringing cold 12 packs up to us.
Was it even good beer though?
Fuck, whatever you wanted, all domestics.
All domestic beers. But
I tried to drink all of the Michelob Ultras.
did downtown help you too?
Oh, buddy. I'm telling you. It was just, I mean, Big Al's Thursday night was fucking wild. I mean, wild.
Which we've already talked.
I was drinking whiskey drinks.
Next year, I'm coming down on fucking Thursday. I'm taking.
That was one of the better things we did because, which I'm rambling now. We're going to keep rolling, I guess, for a little bit. But we rolled in Thursday. Dude, we got here 6:30-ish. Fucking pulled right into the parking spot.
Mm-hmm.
I backed that bitch off the trailer, drove it across the street, was going to put it in the barn so I could get in line to tech in the morning, or Friday morning. Fuck it, run her through tech. I run her across the lift. They stick that bitch, and I went and put it in its sleeping hole till it come to play tonight.
Yep.
Don't show up at about 12 o'clock on a Friday.
On St. Patty's Day.
That fuck, dude, there was a hell of a parade going on out there.
Go a mile out of our
Yeah.
way to get to the
Yeah,
place.
so.
Oh shit! But yeah, let's put a cap on it for this week. We'll come back. We'll talk about it next week.
Got any last
Again,
words?
and some more.
Got any last ones?
Fuck that dirt.
Make junk, boys.